Oh, why, hello there, my beautiful people. Amanda here again with day 4 of Erotic Blueprints and Essential Oils. So today I am going to talk about the Kinky Blueprint and the essential oils that you can use to help heal and move through the shadow aspects, and the essential oils that you can use if you're not a Kinky Blueprint type to expand into the Kinky Blueprint type. So I am an Erotic Blueprint breakthrough coach and a doTERRA wellness advocate. And so let's jump into it. So the Kinky type is amazing. They are turned on by anything that is taboo to them. And so think about that for a second. That is so specific to the individual. What is taboo to you might not be taboo to someone else. So someone who maybe has a pretty just specific way of having sex, having sex outside of missionary position might be taboo to them. And to another, it could be rope play or power dynamics or surrender and dominance. And so there are 2 types of kinky. There is the psychological kink, which is anything, which is someone who is turned on by role playing or storytelling or fantasy. They really love that control and surrender. They really like that dominance or submissiveness. So they're all about creating that scene and playing out roles. The second type of kinky is physical, or like a sensation-based kinky. So this is like physical sensations. And they tend to like sensations that are a little bit more intense. So here's an example. There's a little spiky pinwheel. They like things that are like raw and edgy. They might like restraint, like rope play. They might like, just more scratchier sensations, like scratchier rope, a silky rope, that being tied down, that pressure down, leg spreaders, and scratching, clawing, impact, slapping, and stuff like that. And so, where the energetic is off the body, likes that space and anticipation and tease, and sensual is in the body, likes cuddling and caressing and massaging and that closeness, and the sexual is turned on by visual erotic cues. The kinky is turned on by what is taboo, that naughtiness. So they're really into like the naughty factor and the power factor. So they're very, a very open and expressed and creative kinky without shame is very creative. They're very playful. The sky is the limit. There is no end to what is possible, because there is that fantasy, and what it can be imagined in the mind is never ending. They can be easily turned on. They can, because kink can happen so much in the brain, the arousal that they feel can happen in they can almost reach orgasmic states by just hearing a fantasy or seeing a fantasy or having this role play dynamic. The shadow aspect of the kinky is that typically when we look at the kinky, there's someone who may have been told that they were wrong when they were younger, that like sex wasn't allowed until marriage, that if you touch yourself, that it's dirty, that you're gonna go to hell. And so there's this like I'm wrongness. There's this sense of not really belonging. And so the shadow aspect is that there's deep shame in some kinkies because their desires might be too extreme for some people, or no, They may feel that their desires are too extreme or that they won't be accepted if they express themselves. And so sometimes they can experience like these real energetic drops, and that fear of being seen, that fear of being accepted and heard and understood. And if they do have these really amazing kinky experiences, there can sometimes be these like crazy energetic drops afterwards. And another shadow of the kinky is that because kink is like this never ending opportunity, there's so much possibility in kink, they risk needing to go further and further and further and further and further and further and further. And so their edges and their boundaries, it can sometimes be a bit of a negative thing, because there is some danger if they want to go further, but they're not educated, or they're not in the right environment and don't have the right tools and tricks and like communication skills to push those boundaries. And so essential oils to help with the kinky blueprint type, to help with the shadow, is my first one that I suggest is bergamot. Bergamot, I love this. And this, I feel like bergamot can help so many people, because this is the oil of self-acceptance. This is the oil that relieves those feelings of despair, of self-judgment, of low self-esteem. It helps those with self-love. It really helps with those ideas in kink when I'm wrong, or like I'm broken, or this isn't okay. I shouldn't like this. Oh my God. It really helps being like, okay, I accept myself for exactly who the fuck I am, and my turn-ons and my fetishes and my route to pleasure is totally okay and should be accepted just like everyone else out there. It's for those who hide behind that cheerfulness, that like, oh, everything's okay and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. And like, they really, really cover up their true desires. So this really helps cut the shit and, step into that self-acceptance and that ownership. It's really, really great for expressing those true feelings and true desires. The next oil that apply this. You can diffuse, you can just drop it in your hands and inhale. But I really, really recommend diluting with fractionated coconut oil and rubbing this over the heart, the area where we need that like undivided true self-acceptance. And that power center, that upper belly. And so for that true, beautiful self-acceptance. Hi! The next oil that I want to talk about when talking about the Kinky Shadow is black pepper. So black pepper, and it's a funky oil. I like using this in cooking, and I didn't really start diffusing it until recently when I started diving into like connecting the erotic blueprints and essential oils together, and I was like, oh my God. You are my heart. I love you. Mwah. Black pepper is amazing. It's the oil of unmasking. And so when we talk about kink and we talk about, role play and dominance and like submissive, this really helps just take away the mask and take away the bullshit, because I think a lot of kinky people hide and they people please and they don't really tap into like their true desires. So they put on this mask of the sexual, they put on the mask of the sensual or one of the other blueprints, and they really deny themselves like true authentic pleasure. And so that really helps like remove the mask and reveal the true self. It removes those ideas and those beliefs that they were told that they were wrong somewhere along the line, that their pleasure was wrong, that their desires were wrong. And it invites one to get real, dig deep, and know the less understood parts of themselves. It reignites the soul fire, motivation, and that high energy. So it helps quicken that take off that fucking mask, and it really helps quicken that healing process and that moving into that embodiment and that sureness. And so, yeah, it really helps with overcoming challenges and issues that have been like just carried inside for so long. And it helps feelings of confidence when expressing kink desires. So honestly, I would apply this on the bottom of the feet. Like I said, on the bottoms of the feet, inhale and diffuse. Big toes is really, really good. But I would also rub this on your hands and then just hold it over your throat too, because it will really help voice that empowerment and that confidence. Next, and it's interesting because like I was always really loved this oil, but once I read more into the emotional aspect of it, I realized like, oh my God, this is such a powerful oil and it's everywhere. And I feel like it's one that everyone has in their cupboard. But my next oil that I suggest for the kinky is lavender. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but lavender is the oil of clear communication. It's really good over the throat, the temples, and the back of the neck. So this helps in verbal communication. And it calms the insecurities and the doubts and the like busy mind around expressing how you feel, and helps tone down those feelings of like, oh my God, this is a risk if I express myself. So it calms those insecurities, and it helps those risk sharing their true thoughts and desires to receive all that is possible in sex and intimacy. So it addresses that deep fear of being seen and being heard, and it helps remove blocks to the true self-expression. So I like to use this, side note, I really like to use this oil when I'm around family, because I feel as though family is one of the hardest or I found over time the most difficult to be, seen and accepted and expressed and heard for who you really are. And so use this oil for clear communication, clear embodiment, and to know that you are able and loved by fucking source energy, the universe, for really stepping into your authenticity and who you are and expressing yourself verbally. And my next oil, I don't have it here. I don't know where it is actually. I think the last time I used it, I was doing a speech somewhere, but anyway, it's probably stuck in some backpack from that event. But my next oil that I highly suggest for the Kinky Blueprint is Spearmint. And this is the oil of confident speech. So these are really beautiful oils to pair together, lavender and spearmint, because it helps that clear communication and that confidence of speech. So inhale this one, diffuse it, dilute, and again, apply it over the throat. So it inspires clarity of thought, confident communication. And it's for those who hide their thoughts and their ideas and their opinions. It helps those really who struggle with that translation of like, this is how I feel, but I don't know how to get it out. I don't know how to express it. And so this helps really clear the shit and connect that clear line of communication for confident speech. And it really helps with that scattered, stumbling, stuttering, and that fear. And so yeah, those two oils together are amazing. And so with that, like if you're going into a more dominant role, it really helps with that clear, that concise, that constructive, directive communication. So next I want to move into oils that you can use for expanding into the kinky type. And so I love using these oils because like I'm mainly an energetic type, and I I love these oils for so many reasons. But anyway, but for moving into the kinky type and just playing and dabbling and taking it easy and taking it step by step, I really, really highly suggest Wintergreen. Wintergreen is the oil of surrender. And so if you are in a submissive position in some kink play, and even more dominant role too, is just surrendering into those desires, surrendering into that authenticity. So this, apply it over the heart, inhale and diffuse, and apply it to the bottoms of the feet. Wintergreen is for the strong-willed, and it really helps those people let go of control and being right, and that those feelings of, oh, I have to do this all alone, or I have to figure out all this kink stuff alone, and oh my gosh, like it's just, I'm alone and I'm by myself. And so it really hands over those fears and those anxieties around stepping into kink, and letting go of those hardships and those beliefs that, oh my God, this is going to be hard and this is going to be a struggle. I really want it, but like I'm afraid, and like I'm going to fuck it up, but like fuck it up and fail forward. So this really helps with that surrendering into that to which you want. My next oil that I suggest for expanding into the kinky is Juniper berry. And I really, really love this oil. It's got a beautiful aroma. I really, really like this for dreaming. So Juniper berry is the oil of night. It's the oil of darkness. You can put it on your forehead, behind the ears, and I really highly suggest diffusing this before bed in your room. Turn on the diffuser 30 minutes before bedtime, and then snuggle in and see if this affects you. So this helps those who fear the night, the darkness, and the unknown aspects of themselves. And so, in my practice, I do a lot of coaching around connecting all those different aspects of the self. And a lot of them, and so many people have disowned aspects of themselves. And so this oil really, really helps individuals go into those places, to go into those places that they've disowned, go into those places that are scary, and to reconnect with those aspects and bring the individual back to this wholeness. And so there are a lot of fears around going into kink, and honestly, kink, it's whatever is taboo to you. And so if that is putting on a dress, or some kinky conversation, or some sexting, and it's not what the stereotype projects around kink, like whips and chains and cuts and like gore. I mean, it can be that, but it can be fun and playful and bubbly and giggly. And so this oil helps the individual see fears as they are, and see that those fears are there to teach them. And when we can go into those fears and see them as teachers, we can bring those parts back to ourselves, and we embody this sense of wholeness again. So it helps those to explore what has been unexplored. And my last oil, where I got some notes on it, hold on a second, is Cassia. And Cassia is a lot like cinnamon. I'm sorry guys, hold on a second, I missed one. Cassia, okay, here we go. So Cassia is a lot like cinnamon. It's spicy, it's warm, it's exotic, it smells like sex. It smells like hot, spicy sex, with a little in autumn or winter time with the fire. It's got that really warm, spicy heat to it. So Cassia is the oil. Also, side note, heavily dilute this one. It's very spicy. You honestly just need like 1 drop if you're going to use it topically. So you can diffuse this, you can drop it in your hands and inhale. Watch getting just this oil on your skin or like on your face, because it can have that burning sensation. And if you apply this oil directly to the skin and you do have that burning sensation, don't use water, use an oil. Use olive oil, coconut oil, use avocado oil, a fatty oil, because oil and water don't mix, oil and oil do. Safety tip. So this oil, apply it over the solar plexus and on the bottoms of the feet. And so this oil is the oil of self-assurance. It helps that confidence. It helps with those who are very shy and very timid and very fearful of their power, their sexual desires, their fantasies and their fetishes. And so this really helps just have that sense of like wholeness, assurance, feet on the ground, grounded, and okay, I'm going in and I'm going in deep. And so, yeah, this really brings courage to the heart and the soul. And so I hope that was fun, and I hope, wait, did I miss anything? No, that's okay. Oh, and just like a final thing, like these oils for expansion, the Wintergreen, Cassia, and Juniper berry, they're really great for those fears that people have around expanding into kink, around just fucking it up and messing it up and like just failing. And so these will really help with like, all right, I'm doing it, that confidence, let's go. So I hope that was informative. I hope you have enjoyed this series. Tomorrow I will be going live on the Shapeshifter, the one who loves it all. And yeah, if you have any questions about getting your hands on these pure certified therapeutic grade essential oils, these essential oils are like none other on the planet. I will say that most essential oils that y'all have in your house, if they're not doTERRA, are synthetic perfume, lab-made toxic stuff, and so you can't use them in the way they don't blend with our chemical composition and have that same like high vibe frequency to which in the way that like I speak of them. You need doTERRA, you need really high quality oils if you want to use them in the way that I'm suggesting them and actually get the results. But yeah, reach out to me if you want to get your hands on some oils, or if you want to have like a one-on-one chat around like what oils you think will serve you in your self-love practice, your intimate relationships, your sexuality, your sacred connection to the divine. And yeah, I am also taking clients into the 8-week Erotic Blueprint Breakthrough Coaching Program. And so if you have been feeling disconnected, if you have been feeling like, oh my God, I'm broken, I'm wrong, like I just can't receive pleasure, I don't know how to reach orgasm, like I just feel like I'm lost and that my sexuality is somewhere out there and not embodied, this course took me from disconnection and fear and toxic beliefs around sex and my pleasure, and the sense that, you know, every sexual partner that I have is taking from me, and to this place of like, whoa, I'm actually really energetic and I'm actually really sensual, and I have a lot of shame and I have a lot of baggage, and to have those tools to speak my truth, to speak my boundaries, to speak my needs, to understand my body as an entire erogenous zone, and to be able to express what I need to feel connected in my physical and emotional and sexual connections. Reach out to me if you feel like you've been just shut down, or that you need a spark, you need something new, you're in that curious phase of like learning, and you want your physical connection and long-term relationships to just last. I honestly believe this is a course that will change your life. So I will see you all tomorrow, and stay tuned.